Yo, what is going on, growmies? Hope y'all are doing well, growing well.
Yo, what up, Groomie Gang?
Now, growmies, this series is my girlfriend's first time growing weed ever. Just some backstory. We first met at the university and have now been together for almost 4 years. After growing up, honestly as kids, to now becoming more of real adults, we have grown a lot together. And when I mean grow, I mean a lot of weed. For real though, this series is 100% all her. I'm not going to water the plant, not even gonna lift a finger, because the goal is for her to do it all, start to finish. But before we grow, we first have to ask how she wants to grow. So, the next question, arguably the hardest to decide. Do you want to grow a photo or auto, and why?
I really want to grow an auto, and it's because they're cute.
Okay, so which auto do you want to grow?
So after looking through all my options, I really want to go for Princess Piff. One of my favorite strains is Hubba Bubba Smelloscope. And so when I saw that it was bubblegum with mango and lime, I was intrigued and I really love the name too.
Okay, so now that we've decided on Princess Piff, what medium do you want to grow with? We have Roots Organic Lush, HP Pro Mix, or the soil buckets from Grow Peaceful.
So I'm gonna go with the buckets for like 2 reasons. The first reason is because I really like the way that the soil looks, and it's like more of a smaller company, more of like a better mission. And the second reason is I like that I could put stickers on the bucket.
Alright, so now that we have chosen the Grow Peaceful bucket, what is the next step? How are we going to start Princess Piff for germination?
Well, obviously we gotta use the fail-proof method. And so we're gonna go ahead and put the seed directly into soil, just the way that, nature intended. But before we could even put the seed in the soil, I gotta make sure that the water is nice and wet. That the soil is nice and wet with this water. And after I go ahead and water, I skipped it over because I just naturally I do it. I pH all the time, so I pH the water and then I add it to the soil, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add my seed.
So now that the seed is planted, let's go ahead and check out our environment so she can learn how to start controlling it. First up, we managed to fit a 3x3 FCE 3000 Mars Hydro LED inside this 2x2 tent, which gives amazing coverage from corner to corner. At the top, we don't have a carbon filter yet, and just have one Honeywell fan, which has been going on a few years of never turning off. After planting the seed, now it's time to wait for germination.
And during this time, you just really have to be patient and let it do its thing. Don't bother it, let it relax and grow. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but there's a little dome that goes on top. Gotta spray this humidity dome with some of this water and go ahead and dome her.
Gonna dome that bitch. Now coming back less than 72 hours later, let's check and see if the seed has germinated yet.
How do I zoom in?
That's as zoomed as you can go.
There it is. Right? Damn.
So you care more about that than you do the plant.
They're growing together. Princess Pip's birthday.
Coming back into the tent 2 days later and observing the seedling, we can see it is a very healthy green sprout. On this day, the topsoil was very dry, so she decided that it would be best to water. Coming back on day 4 since sprout, it looks like her choice of watering the soil worked out pretty well, because today the seedling is growing its first true leaves and starting the second set. This plant is now about 1 inch tall. The topsoil looks like it's retained some moisture as well, so just more of a stop by and quick check-in day.
On day 6, it was just another one of those quick check-ins. The plant was looking awesome. She was looking cute. The soil was feeling good still, nice and moist. And especially the topsoil, nothing for me to be like worried or even stressed about. I was vibing. Also, I did notice the seedling though was just looking a little sad. The soil was great, but the seedling was sad. And that's when you realize what else could it be? Maybe light. Well, I was thinking like maybe it needs more light, but then I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be like a helicopter parrot or something, Oh, snap. Watch out. What do I do? What does this mean?
What are you seeing right now? What's the problem?
The plant is falling.
I see that.
Is it a travesty?
So why is it falling right now?
It's falling, but it's going a little up.
So it's reaching. What is it reaching for?
It wants more light.
Wants more light.
I think.
That's what she thinks.
But then a few days later, on day 8, I was like, oh my god, it does need more light because it was even more droopy. So I decided to turn the light from 25% up to 40, see if she could handle it a little bit more. And I also wanted to make like a little dirt mound. I felt so bad because like I just let her fall over. So I made like a little dirt mound for her to stand back up, a little support. And so, yeah.
Also, Growmies, this is the day that we finally made our own graphic and sticker for the series. So far, for my girlfriend's first time growing weed ever, all she's done is water, and the seedling is looking amazing. Code GROWMIEGANG if you go, I can't fucking do it. Code GROWMIEGANG on day 10, both of us being scientists, and her knowing a lot about agricultural science of soil. We know how important it is to have highly active microbial activity in organic soils. So, for this day,
I decided I was going to go ahead and add a splash of this like stash stuff. I was going ahead and looking through what he had, and this just like looked interesting to me. It has pretty decent microbes, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully add this during this time to like really like make it grow. Like think about it like as like a toddler in a way. You gotta make sure they're eating well, or else they're gonna just stay short. Like same thing with plants. You gotta make sure they like eat well, more or less. And so microbes help with that absorption.
Checking in on day 11, literally less than 24 hours later, this plant exploded with growth and is now doing amazing. The microbial addition really seemed to help this plant take advantage of the soil's nutrients in the grow bucket, which is amazing to see.
Go again. I forgot my line. Hashtag GROWMIEGANG. Anyway, we gotta get back to work.
on day 12, the plant is continuing to grow and responding well to watering and the increase in light intensity.
I felt so bad when I opened up the set and I realized that the soil was dry and that the plant was almost double in its size. So I just wanted to add a bunch of water to it, and that's all I did. That's all I needed. Day 18. 4 days since our last check-in, which this is important, growmies. Like, to let it do its thing, to let it grow, but mind its own business, just the way nature intended. You gotta remember that these are plants, that are meant to be outside in a way, so you have to mimic outside, inside as much as you can. And so, just leave it alone for as long as you can, but you don't want to leave it alone for too long because it is inside and you can't make that outdoor condition. And so we can go ahead and see that even 4 days later, there's a really big difference with the plant growth. It was awesome. And I also realized how dirty the fan was. I couldn't believe it. I had to move the plant out because I was in shock. And so I went ahead and cleaned it, wiped it down. Went ahead and wiped down the rest of the tent too because I realized how messy it was. And she probably didn't appreciate it.
1 day later, on day 19 since sprout, it's time to do some more leaf tucking, which in theory should help the lower shaded branches grow out more. Also, at this point, we can already see that the roots are traveling across the entire bucket. Coming back 3 days later, and on day 23,
my plant is exploding, growmies.
The final day for this update, we can see that she got an amazing, perfect textbook start to growing auto flowers. So, let's ask her, is there any tips that you want to give first-time growers on how to get a good start with auto flowers?
Well, first you want to go ahead and just make sure that you sing to her every now and then, and you want to make sure you appreciate her and what she's going to give you, and you want to make sure that you kind of just leave her alone. Let her do her thing. She'll do her thing, help her out when she needs it. That's it.
Alright, growmies, this was the first episode of my girlfriend's first grow ever. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment. If you haven't seen my other grow/smoke reports, check them out. Keep it up out there, growmies, and stay motivated in this beautiful medicinal hobby.
#GrowMeGang.
#GrowMeGang.